The Canucks make a sneaky signing out of the NCAA, and former Canucks player and NHL legend does speak out on the team. I'll get into this later on this episode. Before I start, I just want to say to the thousands of you watching that aren't subscribed, if you're enjoying this daily Canucks content and you don't want to miss another episode, make sure to go down, hit that subscribe button, because we're going to be here all season long, giving you updates from everything you need to know around the Canucks. But with that, let's hop straight into the first topic today, which is Mark Messier speaks out on the Canucks. Now, obviously, Mark Messier is not a great name around the team of Vancouver, but he did do an interview with NHL.com where a lot of the questions were centered around the Canucks. And he goes on to say, Vancouver has had an incredible year, Messier said. I've got to take my hat off to Rick Tocchet and the job he's done there. He's really centered and focused that team. They have a lot of talent, but focusing that talent is not always easy. Now, we've seen a lot of reports come out this year of just Rick Tocchet looking at this team and saying, hey, the job's far from done. Don't take things for granted. Keep your foot on the gas. Rick Tocchet has been a huge part and a huge reason why this Canucks team has flourished. Messier continues on to speak on Thatcher Demko, and he says Demko seemed to be an excellent goalie. Obviously not a lot of playoff experience, so that's different. And I think Elias Lindholm, who they acquired from the Calgary Flames, was a great addition. He's a really solid hockey player who provides a lot of offense and a 200-foot game. He does continue on and say the Canucks have set themselves up. One of the things I like about the Canucks is they have a really big, strong defense. In the playoffs, playing for 2 months, your defense is going to be tested. Ground and pound, they've got to be able to absorb that. And the final quote from him was that some inexperience in Vancouver, which is probably the thing that they're lacking the most right now, you've got to look at the team as really being positioned well to play in the playoffs. Now, obviously, like I said, I'm not going to go into why everyone hates Mark Messier, especially Canucks fans, but what I will say is I'm hoping this is not him jinxing this team. I think this is just purely Messier speaking on this team and just saying the things that everyone has been seeing. Like I said, Tocchet has been so important to this team this year with the development of players, getting the system working, and getting everyone bought in. Demko himself has been huge for this team. You see the team that they built of big defensemen. They have guys of Tyler Myers, Nikita Zadorov, Carson Soucy. They've built a team for the playoffs, and it seems like the Canucks are getting a lot of traction, not just from teams, not just from fans, but from NHL alumni that are speaking out and saying how much this team does look poised for a deep run. They have the defense, they have the coaching, they have the goaltending, they have the forwards. This team is looking at a deep run, and Mark Messier, as much as I hate to say it, is right about the Vancouver Canucks. So what's your thoughts on this? Do you think everything Messier is saying is just to make fans happy? Do you think he's trying to turn a new leaf and make sure Canucks fans do like him? Or do you think he's just kind of off his head at this point? But with that, let's hop straight into the second topic today, which is quite a big one in my opinion, and it doesn't seem like it. Canucks sign an NCAA prospect. Now, the Vancouver Canucks PR did come out and say the Canucks general manager Patrik Allvin announced today that the club has agreed to terms with defenseman Chrisitan Felton on a 1-year entry-level contract. Now, obviously, when you're looking at Chrisitan Felton, you're kind of wondering, who is this guy? He was born on February 4th, 2000, which makes him 24 years old. He's from the USA. He's a defenseman, right-handed shot, 6'1", 185 pounds. As I said, undrafted, signed out of the NCAA. Obviously, at first glance, you're looking at this guy and saying, if he's good, why is he going undrafted? What is the big deal about this guy? Obviously, we've seen him play in the NCAA. The Canucks did sign him, and at first glance, this seems like just a depth signing, just in case they lose some UFAs on Abbotsford, on the Canucks, just to have that extra right-handed defenseman. Now, when you do look at his stats as well, they're not the flashiest. You see that he played with the Vipers in the BCHL. He put up 15 points in 15 games. Since then, he played 4 seasons in college hockey, NCAA with Bentley, Merrimack. They played 4 seasons, 13 games, 0 points, 27 games, 4 points, 32, 6 points, and this year in 26 games, he had 3 goals, 4 assists, for 7 points. Like I said, at first glance, this guy doesn't look like he's going to be really anything, and it seems, like I said, like a depth signing. But the big thing I do want to focus on with this is the fact that Chris Tanev was once a NCAA player that the Vancouver Canucks did sign out of RIT of the college league in 2009-10. Obviously, in 41 games, Chris Tanev had 10 goals, 18 assists for 28 points. He did come in to play with the Manitoba Moose with putting up 1 goal, 8 assists for 9 points in 39 games before joining the Canucks in 2010-11, where he had 29 games played, 1 assist, 1 point, and played 5 playoff games. Now, like I said, the big thing when you're looking at this is the fact that Chris Tanev was once a unsigned UFA that they got from the NCAA. And like I said, you're going back and looking at Chrisitan Felton, who is another guy that they're getting out of the NCAA. Am I saying this guy is 100% going to be the next Chris Tanev? No, I'm most certainly not saying that. But this might turn into a sneaky signing by the Canucks. As I said, Chris Tanev, right-handed defenseman, more of a stay-at-home shutdown guy, which exactly is the same as Felton. Felton is 6'1", 185 pounds. Yes, he's 24 years old, so there isn't a lot of, talent coming out at that deep of an age, but you never know at that point. This is a guy that could come in, make an immediate impact on the Abbotsford Canucks. I could definitely see him getting into a couple games, especially of them looking to make a deep run. He'll be fighting for minutes with guys like Jet Wu, Irvin, stuff like this. So getting him into this lineup is going to be a little tricky, especially with DPD joining this team. But I think the main thing is they're going to get him in, and it's kind of looking, like I said, in just the mirror image of how Chris Tanev came over. Yes, Tanev was 20 when they did ultimately get him, but like I said, we need to be optimistic. This could just be a depth signing, or this could be the Canucks' second Chris Tanev. As I said, the points are kind of similar. Chris Tanev and had 16 points in 39 games. Then you see a guy like Felton that had 7 points in 26 games. Yes, it's a bit of a difference, but they're both stay-at-home, shutdown defensemen that could make an impact on the Canucks. So what's your thoughts on this? Do you think this is more just a depth signing, like I said, for the Abbotsford Canucks? He might see some minutes, maybe he doesn't. Maybe he turns into the next Chris Tanev, or maybe he's just a career AHL guy. What's your thoughts on Mark Messier's comments? Like I said, be nice to him down to the comments. He's just trying to make his name better for the Canucks fans. Like I said, I'm definitely not getting into that. But the main thing to take away from this video is just the thoughts on Chrisitan Felton coming in, being the next Chris Tanev, which would be super exciting. But that'd be it for this episode of Canucks Digest. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to go down, hit that subscribe button. If you didn't enjoy it, then I'm so sorry, and I hope the next episode's good. And if you don't want to subscribe, well, I hope I see you again, because I enjoy making this content so much. Leave a comment down there while you're subscribing as well, and let me know what you want to see in the next episode. Do you want to see a prospect breakdown, a game recap, more legends speaking on this team, or just in-depth analysis on some players that maybe I haven't covered? Maybe you want another Willander thing, or maybe a guy that not many people are talking about. But with that, that'd be it for this episode, and take care.